I don't want you to ever think that I think I'm better than people or that I think I know better than people. Anyway, sorry. Okay. This is a song from the perspective of God.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Open Arms Reactions. My name's Casper Fox, this is Mortius, and today we're here with BURNHAM.
I am showing my dear friend Casper BURNHAM's What? Now, we are taking a slightly different approach to this one how we normally do because Casper is going out of town for most of the month of May and we are trying to record a lot of content ahead of time. So we are going to be approaching this a little bit differently since Casper is going to be out of town for most of the month of May. We're recording a lot of content ahead of time. We are going to watch all of What in one session. 5 of these songs we are going to do full proper reaction analysis to, which is going to come to you every Friday in the month of May. And for all the rest of the songs, we're kind of just going to do a watch through and light reaction, which is available over on our Patreon. So if you want to see any of the songs we do not include in this series of reactions on YouTube, check out patreon.com/openarmsreactions. For as little as $3 a month, you can get access to the exclusive content like that, which is super fun. But for now, we are going to hop into From God's Perspective. You ready, Casper?
That was awesome. Let's do it.
All right, so we just checked out 3 more very, very silly songs. Casper, we're about halfway through. How you feeling?
I mean, so far so good. I'm enjoying it. I think he is great. I knew he was great, but it is nice to see. It's interesting
Casper,
to see it from
you're
the
so
reverse, as you
far
say.
over.
It's so deep.
No, you're so fine. We'll keep going. It was just funny. We're breaking the illusion for people. The new people will think we're in the same room. No! What have you done? So...
Remember that person that thought we were married and next to each other?
Yes! They're another YouTuber. Should I just name drop them? Because I think it'd be funny.
Peak.
That would imply... Actually, no, because then that would just call myself out for not knowing how to pronounce their name. Calxian. I don't think any of those are right. But they definitely thought that we were in a relationship and in the same room with the, 2 videos that we watched. Anyways...
I get that a lot, actually.
Yeah. I talked to Casper a little bit off screen about this upcoming song. We are going to talk about it. This song is definitely one that, can verge on a little bit... Insensitive isn't necessarily the right word, but it gets into some topics that... Sometimes YouTubers might not want to share their full opinions on, sometimes might, blah, blah, blah. We will, of course, work on being respectful at all times, but Casper, I want to hear your thoughts on these lyrics, because these are some really interesting lyrics. And, yeah, so I just wanted to say that for you and for the YouTube audience, because this song is called From God's Perspective. Are you ready for it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
There's things that I don't want to come across in my show that I worry often come across about me, because people don't realize that it's an act up here. I don't want you to ever think that I think I'm better than people or that I think I know better than people. Anyway, sorry. Okay. This is a song from the perspective of God.
Already
Great.
one of my favorite
Well,
is just
fantastic.
never think too highly of myself, never think I'm above anyone else. Cool, I just wanted to make sure. Here's a song from the perspective of God.
Literally.
Such a fire opening.
The books you think I wrote are way too thick. Who needs 1,000 metaphors to figure out you shouldn't be a dick? And I don't watch you when you sleep. Surprisingly, I don't use my omnipotence to be a f***ing creep.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
now you understand why I gave the
Gotcha.
sort of clarity ahead of time of
Yeah.
these are interesting lyrics. Some people won't love them, but I want to talk about them seriously, especially because I don't bring this into content a lot, but I was raised very heavily born again Christian. And so I'm guessing he is too, because I've talked to my wife who was raised Catholic, and this song doesn't resonate as much for her. So even though I don't know Bo's background, I'm guessing it's a similar type of sort of non-Catholic, Protestant Christian, because of how much this feels like it's the human counter to everything that was drilled into my head as a child.
Yeah. Okay, so it seems like we're about to get into a song that's critical of religion.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it seems like specifically well, no, not specifically the Christian, because this could apply to a lot of religions
could,
with
yeah.
God is all knowing, God is so.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this is going to be like being critical about why like why do you need an excuse to like why do we need to praise yourself for being great? Why is that not
Exactly.
the standard answer in that sense, right? You don't need
Mm-hmm.
religion, you don't need to. So it's I guess maybe we're going into like a call out of extremists, but also just
Yes.
like in general that like why do you need an excuse to just not be
A
what,
bad
what
thing,
he
yeah.
just said something about
He
like
said, "Who needs a
be
thousand
a
metaphor to figure out you couldn't be a?"
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything
Basically greet the world with
musically
open
so
arms.
far? Exactly.
Okay, again, we're back to
It's kind of simplistic.
it's
yeah,
very it's very yeah, but it's also very Bo Burnham with these moving between
Yes.
these like da 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 da, like just like for example the chicken. It's very common, and then he does this. I'm starting to become like the Bo Burnham descent. Na 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 na, like that he uses that a
Ways of
lot in his
persuasion.
songwriting, and yeah.
Don't use my omnipotence to be a f***ing creep. You're not going to heaven. Why the fuck would you think I'd ever kick it with you? None of you are going to heaven. There's a trillion aliens cooler than you. You shouldn't abstain from rape just 'cause you think that I want you to.
Literally.
You shouldn't rape 'cause rape is a fucked up thing to do.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious, just don't
Literally.
fuck people.
But like it really brings into the like concept, like I've seen a lot of Christian influencers really highlight like there is no such thing as subjective morality, so how can you be truly moral without like guidelines from a higher power? And I like that this song really breaks apart the concept of like, no, we can create our own morality. We as human beings are capable of identifying right from wrong. We like that's something we can do.
It sounds like that, like for the people who are saying, or for the people that he's calling out, they're saying that sounds like that if God told them that it was okay, they would do it. Which,
yes,
you know,
exactly.
yeah.
Which justifies a lot of terrible actions in the past by thinking that it is God's will. Crusades, homophobia, all kinds of things have been done under that guise. So you're right. Not only is it like you shouldn't do the bad things I don't tell you to, but it's like you should have a concept of subjective morality outside of faith.
Didn't think I had to write that one down for you. I don't think masturbation is obscene. It's absolutely natural and the weirdest f***ing thing I've ever seen. You make my job a living hell. I send gays to fix overpopulation. Boy, did that go well. You're not going to heaven. Eat 1,000 crackers, sing 1,000,000 hymns. None of you are going to heaven. You're not my children. You're a bad game of sim.
Genius.
Right? Like the concept
That's
of
really-
it just
it's really
being like
good.
this is just like just everything about like the self-imposed importance like on their like how each of those verses it's not I love the way he's not saying like you're not going to heaven because you're bad. It's you're not going to heaven because you're not as good as you think you are. He's not saying like you're all terrible, you all sin, so none of you are getting in. It's why would it be you? There's a bunch of aliens. Why would it be you? You're just a game of Sims. Like you're just people. You're not my children. You're like the whole point of it is just like you have this sense of self-righteousness that you only get by building a connection to a higher power. And it's
I mean
fascinating.
it's interesting how Bo is like one of the first people I see bringing a tad more modern elements into like the like being skeptic about like religion stuff, like bringing like 1 trillion aliens and then of course the bad game of sins, which
Yes.
Of Sims, sorry, not
Okay.
Sims. I'm sure that had we asked like my family, like for example, my mom and dad, they know what The Sims is,
Yeah.
and would probably be able to dissect what this metaphor means.
Yeah, but
But
not super
us who like
well.
grew up with it and are like implemented into it, it makes a bit more sense. Which is also like
point.
that when because most of the time when I hear people being critical of religion, it's like professors or scholars or people who are shouting in the streets, for example, right? There's not really any. I don't think I've seen a media other than just music, and especially not comedy, where it's more because comedy is usually said like, haha, isn't this fucked up that they think that, ha ha ha. But here, even if it is in
Exactly.
connection to comedy, he's kind of just breaking it down like,
Yes.
I think this is fucking stupid, and here's why I think it's stupid from this
but also
POV,
he's
which
not
is
even
really
saying that much that like the beliefs are stupid. He's just saying you should
No.
have most of these beliefs
Yeah.
on your own. Like you should be proud of yourself. You should be proud of the fact that you can wake up and choose to do the right thing even if a big floating guy in the sky isn't telling you to. Isn't it so much more of an accomplishment to wake up and make the right choice because you can make the world a better place and not because you think you'll burn if you don't? Isn't that better? I'm fine.
You shouldn't abstain from pork just because you think that I want you to.
See, it's not just Christianity.
No, Islam and Jew.
You can eat pork, because why the f would I give a shit?
Literally.
Wait for it.
I created the universe. Think I'm drawing the line at the fucking deli aisle? You argue and you bicker and you fight. Atheists and Catholics, Jews and Hindus argue day and night over what they think is true. But no one entertains the thought that maybe God does not believe in you. You pray so badly for heaven, knowing any day might be the day that you die. But maybe life on earth could be heaven. Doesn't just the thought of it make it worth a try?
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah, because a lot of religions, it's all based like I'm
Focused
a
on
bit
what comes
curious,
next.
maybe. Yeah, it's always focused on the end goal, and then you're sitting at the end of your life realizing you've gone towards work into something that you might believe exists, but that isn't guaranteed in
Yeah.
that sense, right? But something I'm a little curious about is that he's calling out a lot of the major religions, but Islam is left out, like by wording so far.
I will say, keep in
Which is
mind
interesting.
that, like, I think they have become much more prevalent in, like, the general mindset more recently just because of certain policies and things like that. I mean, I guess by 2014, no, you're right, actually. By 2014, I was thinking this was even longer ago. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, because Islam is like from like the 7th century,
Yeah.
so it's
Well,
been
yeah,
one
yeah,
of the
yeah,
major
yeah.
religions for a
No,
long
you're
long
right.
time, especially in the 10s, and especially when there's been a lot like there's been a
you're
lot of
right.
negative focus
Yeah.
because of what has happened for the extremists here in
Yes.
2000s and the 2010s and stuff like that.
You're right.
But at this
Interesting.
point,
That is a
at
good
this point, it's
point.
an interesting big because a lot of people will see like there's either like when talking about Islam, it's always like it's always like the ones that believes it's a perfect religion with a perfect community and everything, and the people that completely shit on it and don't realize that there is a gray area in between where you separate the extremists and the very peaceful religion that
Yes.
Islam is. So it's interesting to me that because historically, sadly, what has been shown in media is that usually extremists in the Islam
Yeah.
religion tends to take it more to heart than Christians and Judaism and stuff like that. So I wonder if that's like if he was
I was
just
gonna
like
say, maybe that's
afraid to
what-
criticize
Well,
it,
but
or
maybe not even afraid. Maybe, like, he was like, they have enough critique, like, they have enough bad blood on them. Like, enough people
that could
already
also
think
that
it's
could
negative.
also be a thing, yeah.
I don't know, but that's a really interesting point that I haven't really seen anyone point out or really think about. So that's interesting.
Just the thought of it make it worth a
Love
try.
that so much.
Gonna get a bridge here.
My love's the type of thing that you have to earn, and when you earn it, you won't need it.
my love's the type of thing you have to earn, and by the time you earn it, you don't need it. Casper!
Interesting. Because a common thing, especially in Christianity, is that God loves all and all and everyone, right? So flipping that on its head and being like, what if instead of you're being loved just for like being here, you're like, he's kind of like not arguing, but he's like presenting. Yeah, I guess he's arguing that like you need to make yourself worthy of this, like of this love. It's not just something that is inherently there in a sense,
like
right?
you shouldn't be able to just assume you have the love of this higher power. Like that's something you should be working towards earning, and by the time you earn it, you've made heaven on earth. You don't need it. You can be happy without it. I'm happy without it.
In some religions, though, someone being worthy of God's love is also someone who is completely like clean in that sense, right?
That's true.
So
that
that's
does
like
depend on the
because
religion. This part
and
definitely
especially
feels a little more Christian.
Yeah, exactly. But also because like there is, because of Adam and Eve, we call it afsøtten in Danish, which is the inherit sin, I guess is the word for it. Which
we have a similar concept,
means that,
but we don't have a cool word for it.
That's fair, but it's essentially that because what Adam and Eve did, every single of their descendants is now a sinner because of it, and since every human in the Christian religion comes from Adam and Eve or whatever, then we are inherently all sinful in that sense, right? This is a very, very complicated topic that we are so much not qualified to talk about.
Yes, exactly. Yes, for sure. But I like that because it feels like we're taking a very just human approach. Like everything we've been doing isn't trying to tackle the religion. Like we're intentionally not, or at least I'm intentionally not, and it seems like you're doing a good job too, of not really talking about or criticizing it on an institutional level. All of my critiques are based on my personal experience. Like I am not basing these things off of just like the big things that I see or like the big churches or anything like that. It's just like, this is what I was taught, and this is why I don't think it's right, and why this song resonates to me.
What, and also as humans, like especially with modern internet culture and us as like content creators, we have to be careful what we say, which is kind of sad. It's a little sad because it also kind of prohibits our rights as human to speculate and like think and express, you know.
That's a good point.
So in that sense, we've gotten to a point where I feel like that inherently all of what we say comes from a place of curiosity and love rather than
and most
hate.
people know this, but there's always the chance, especially when checking out a new artist, there's going to be new eyes, but also no one's clicking on a Bo Burnham reaction thinking that everything's going to be peachy clean and PG.
Earn it when you earn it, you won't need it. My love's the type of thing that you have to earn it. When you earn it, you won't need it. I'm not gonna give you love just 'cause I know that you want me to. If you want love, then the love has gotta come from you.
Does he end with major minor first?
Good question.
He does not. Nice. Peak. Okay, yeah.
And so that
incredible.
ending kind of going into that just like I'm not going to give you love because I know you want me to. If you want love, then the love has got to come from you. Honestly, it's just the perfect summary of everything you and I were already talking about. I don't think there's anything else I would even have to say about that.
There was some wavering in his vocals. His vocals were not always on pitch, which I just feel like sends the message really nicely.
Yes,
as well.
absolutely. Definitely a clearly intentional choice. Cool. Well, thank you all very much for being here. Thank you in advance for not canceling us. We hope you are enjoying your Bo Burnham month. We are halfway through it. If you missed the previous two songs, we already checked out Intro and Left Brain, Right Brain these last 2 Fridays. And then the upcoming 2 Fridays, we will be checking out Repeat Stuff and the ending songs. So I am very excited to continue along this journey with Casper. If you don't want to wait for those songs, or you want to see all the songs in between the ones we're not bringing to YouTube, definitely consider checking us out on patreon.com/openarmsreactions. But other than that, we will see you here next week. And as always, greet the world with open arms. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.